Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. My name is Saturn and today we will be discussing planes that could be added to the Israeli tech tree in War Thunder. Remember, please like and subscribe, it would help a lot and helps me grow. Now let's get to the Israeli vehicles. These vehicles are taken from the tree proposal from the Israeli tech tree Discord, which is in the description along with the tree itself. Our first entry is one of two of the same plane, that being the Mosquito NF Mark 30 and the Mosquito FB Mark 6. The Mark 30 version of the plane is a night fighter, equipped with the American AN APS-4 radar. Designed in 1940, the Mosquito is a large, wooden heavy fighter that was used in pretty much every role possible by the British during World War II, and would also be used in several famous missions that would just piss off the Germans, including the Amiens prison break, a strike on the Berlin radio while Goering was talking, and a flight down the Champs-Élysées that dropped several French flags along the road. Anyway, the IAF, once they got these planes, mostly used them in reconnaissance, and during the Sinai War in 1956, they flew mostly ground attack sorties. The IAF used over 100 Mosquito airframes, and they were retired finally in 1957. Mosquito carried 4 Hispano Mark II 20mm cannons, it's also an assortment of bombs and rockets for ground attack. In War Thunder, this aircraft will be an interesting option to bring up to 6.0 with the Super Sherman as close air support, or to fly an ARB as a high altitude heavy fighter or interceptor. The second aircraft on this list is the French Fugger CM-170 Magister. The Magister was a light jet trainer and attack platform and it was built in Israel by IAI. The IAF received its first Magisters in 1960 and they were used as jet trainers. They saw extensive combat during the 1967-Six-Day War, when most of the IAF was tied up with Operation Focus, especially on June 5th and June 6th. In the 1960s, IAI even began an upgrade and refurbishment program of the Magisters, with the new Zukit standard to see new engines, a new cockpit, and 250 other modifications. In War Thunder, the Magister would be a light attack aircraft carrying dumb bombs and rockets, but also SS-11 anti-tank missiles, making the Magister a sort of French and Israeli SK-60. This thing, I guess, or this entry also serves to put in the French tree. The next 4 planes I'll group together, and these 4 aircraft are unlikely possible additions that would be extremely interesting, but completely unnecessary to add. These are the MiG-17, MiG-21 NF number 007, the MiG-21 2000, and the MiG-23 MLD. The stories of how the IAF came into owning these planes is extremely interesting. In the MiG-17's case, Syrian pilots Lieutenant Walia Arham and Second Lieutenant Radfan Rafahi made several navigational errors and landed their MiG-17s in an Israeli field and then would be captured by the IDF. The MiGs were eventually painted in Israeli colors and eventually flown before being handed over to the United States. For the MiG-21 F-13, we find an exceptional story, began where Ezra Weizman, the commander of the IAF, requested the Mossad to get a MiG-21 for testing. The Mossad, in all their glory, recruited a Maronite Christian pilot named Munir Redfa to defect from the Iraqi Air Force. On August 16, 1966, Redfa took off, avoiding Iraqi and Syrian radar before being escorted to Israel by a pair of Mirages. Later, his entire family was smuggled out of Iraq. This specific aircraft was named 007 in honor of James Bond and the manner of how the IDF came into owning this plane. And it even saw combat under the Israeli flag. It was extremely valuable to the IAF, who used it as a adversary aircraft and trained its Mirage pilots against it before eventually handing it over to the Americans. Next is the MiG-23, which the IAF captured when the Syrian pilot defected and flew his mid to a random crop duster airfield in Israel. Unfortunately, this plane does not come with any missiles, and the IDF only captured it using guns. And finally is the MiG-21 2000. It's an export proposal for the MiG-21 BIS, and it gave a new avionics and Python missile capability. The plane was pretty much a complete failure on the export market. Overall, these 4 aircraft would be very interesting to add to the Israeli tech tree, and they'd be a very large departure from these planes we already have in game, which are mostly French and American, and I think they could be very interesting vehicles in game, but the main downside is that they are, of course, copy-paste. For our last 2 entries, we find 2 planes that likely will make it to the game soon, being the F-4E Kernas 2000 and the F-4E 2000 Super Phantom. The Kernas was an upgraded Phantom with new avionics, wiring, fuel tanks, hydraulic systems, a new heads-up display, the Norden APG-76 radar, and several other changes. It was made to be better on every role that it filled, from air-to-air, to air-to-ground, to SEAD. It could carry AIM-9Ls, AIM-7Ms, AGM-88s, as well as Mavericks. This would be a fantastic plane in ground RB, and it could accompany the F-16 as the main ground strike platform, if it wasn't for the next plane. This is the F-42000, a comprehensive overhaul to the Phantom platform, even more than the Kernas. It's fitted with new engines that improve the thruster rate ratio to 1.04, meaning it could accelerate in a 90-degree vertical climb. This was the main upgrade, but it also included capability for some weapons such as that the Kernas did not have. Mainly the Python 3 missile, while pretty much anything the Kernas carried, the Super Phantom could. This plane would supersede the Kernas completely, and be a fantastic plane in ground RB as well as in air, with deadly weaponry and insane engines. It'd be extremely interesting to see long-range jousting battles between Israeli Phantoms using AIM-7Ms and Python 3s against F-14s and other long-range platforms like the MiG-29. Though that could also just be wishful thinking on my part. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any more suggestions of vehicles or videos, feel free to comment. Also, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and reach new audiences, and lets me know that you like this content. I'll see you next time.